welcome back. Welcome back to Lira in Law. I'm your host, Lira Simon Kabatbat. And for those of you watching now, please say hello, no? Put your comments nga on Facebook and mamaya nga we're going to read it, no? So please do say hello because I know I say this every time, but it's true. It's true. My favorite part nga yung batian, but that's a little bit later on. So ang topic po natin nga ngayon, as I've said, is part 1 of applying for indefinite leave to remain. So tonight, ang pag-uusapan po natin, spouse application. By the way, next week, ang pag-uusapan po natin, again, of course, part 2 of indefinite leave to remain application, but to do with long residence. So those who've been in the United Kingdom a long time, for example, nga 10 years. And then part 3 is making an application for indefinite leave to remain if you're here on a work type visa. So so yung nga, napakalaki ang topic ng indefinite leave to remain. So much so that I thought it best now to divvy it up so we can look into things in quite a bit more detail. As they say, put meat on it, no? So we're going to unpack nga the requirements, the suitability requirements, and all of that. So as I say, tonight po, indefinite leave to remain spouse. Next week, indefinite leave to remain, but to do with long residence. And then the third week, part 3 nga, is indefinite leave to remain to do nga with employment. So put them in your diary. Now, starting point. So topic po natin, spouse application, indefinite leave to remain. Starting point nga is, nandito na kayo. So you are here as a spouse. No? You entered the United Kingdom as a spouse. That's the visa that you got initially. Okay. But by the way, of course, you can now also enter the United Kingdom as an unmarried partner. Okay. But for the purposes nga of tonight, we're focusing on spouse. I mean, it's much the same, frankly, but I don't want to confuse things by also dealing with the unmarried partner route. So you entered the United Kingdom as spouse visa. No? Nakakuha na kayong one visa. Now you have extended that visa. So when you enter the UK as a spouse, you get 2.5 years initially. Before that visa expires, you apply to extend that visa to get another 2.5 years visa. No? Now you've been in the United Kingdom nearly 5 years, if not 5 years. So you're saying, okay, what application should I be making now? Now, that is what we're looking at. You will be making an application probably or hopefully for indefinite leave to remain. Now, we're going to be looking at what is the applicable law, una, what do you need to show, yung process, and then what would you get? And as I say, I always try and do our broadcast with practical leanings, practical tips, of course. And hopefully it's helpful to you. So, what law applies? Now, the law is covered by ang tawag nga Appendix FM. It's if you want to have a look, you then go on the Home Office website and just type in Appendix FM. It's not easy reading. Appendix FM. To be frank, I'm not sure why it's so confusingly put. The paragraphs are not very easy to look at. Tapos there are various references, so it's really not easy reading. But if you're curious, ang tawag nga Appendix FM. But I'm going to clarify what the requirements are according to Appendix FM. But we're coming back to that. So the second thing is, what do you need to do? So what do you need to show? Anong process nga? Now, una po, you need to submit an application online. Okay? So it's an online application. The form itself, ang tawag SET-M, S-E-T and then M. Okay? Now, let me just see if I can show you actually what a SET-M looks like. Sandali, let me just have a look. Let me just see if I can show that to you, what the SET-M looks like. SET-M ito. Okay? So you'll see there, actually type of visa application, it in fact says SET-M. So if I scroll down a little bit, so actually before I do that, I'll just go back a little bit. Let me have a look. Let me just go back a page. So go back one page, go back to the top, to the very top. Yeah, okay. So you'll see there. I've obviously, this is from an application that I submitted recently, but obviously I redacted it, no? Hindi ko nilagay yung pangalan ng client namin. So there you will see there, it says applicant name, any number of applicants, because of course you would include any children dependents there. And then when you submit the application, you also get a unique reference application number, which is a few digits na to the next bit. And your passport number nyo, country of nationality, if you're from the Philippines, of course you put Philippines nga, and the date of application. And you will see there, makikita nyo, no, type of visa, our application. It actually says there, set M. Okay. Now I'll take you through the fees in a moment. And so let me just show you page 2. So this is the second page with this application. No. Now this is what confuses a lot of people. So it's quite a long application, but if you see there, I put it in. I've circled it in red. So because this is what causes confusion, as I say, it's a drop-down list. Makikita nyo, there are a number of things to categories now to choose from. If you are here on a spouse visa. So kasal nga kayo dito, nandito kayo, you've done your 5 years already or nearly 5 years. Then this is the section, the category that you need to choose. So nakikita niyo diyan, says here, partner of a person present and settled in the United Kingdom, 5-year route. Importante yun, no? Because you can apply also for indefinitely to remain under the 10-year route. But as I say, kung nandito kayo, dumating kayo dito as a spouse, you got a visa to 2.5 years. Then you've got another extension as a spouse, you got 2.5 years, and now you apply for indefinite. This is the section. This is the category that you need to take. Okay, so don't make a mistake of taking the other ones because then that you've submitted then the wrong basis for the application. Now let me just see if there's anything interesting on page 3. Tingnan ko. The next page nga. So makikita nyo dyan, if you have solicitors like me nga acting for you, my details, what says the immigration advisor, nandun pangalan ko, no, Lira Simon Kapatbak, no? And then it's just going to the top, you will see there is your current enter clearance visa or leave to remain as a partner of the following, no? So it again gives you a number of options nga. So is your partner nga a British citizen? Okay, person settled in the UK, so someone with indefinite leave to remain, for example. And then if the answer to that is yes, then you just tick yes. Okay, so that's the application. Yun ang itsura. That is how you will see it actually online. Now, when you're making your application, be ready also to have the money ready, the application fee. The application fee, as of today, is £2,885. So not a small amount. But it is what it is. Because nagpapasok nga kayong application for indefinite leave to remain, ibig sabihin, hindi nyo kailangan magbayad ng panibagong IHS, which is the Immigration Health Surcharge. The Immigration Health Surcharge, you only pay when you apply for a spouse visa to come into the United Kingdom, plus of course the home office fee. And then again, when you apply for your extension of leave to remain, the 2.5 years. But because nga ang application nyo nga ngayon is indefinite na settlement status, you don't now pay the IHS, the Immigration Health Surcharge, but you do pay the higher home office fee, which as I've said nga, is £2,885. I mean, it went up recently, but not by very much. Not unlike the IHS, which went up considerably I think it was towards the beginning of the year. And of course, pagka nagpasok yung application, huwag nyo kalimutan na you would, of course, get your children, no? But dependent children need to be included in the application. So you make sure also na ready nga kayo when you're submitting the application with their details, passports nga nila. And don't forget also, it is not, the fee is per applicant. No? So you can't, even though it's only one form, it does not mean na isa nga ng bayad nyo. You need to pay per applicant. It doesn't matter kung ilang taon sila. There's no discount for children. You need to pay the £2,885. So it can be, kung hindi nga lang kayo, dalawa tatlong anak nyo, then it can be quite a lot. So sometimes nga, I often, not just sometimes, often I say to my clients, pagka nakakuha na sila ng visa ng 2.5 years, alam ko may mga anak sila, I often say to them, no, kailangan nyo na mag-ipon na nga ngayon. Magtabi-tabi kayo ng savings because you're looking at a huge amount of disbursements nga. So, so if you are one nga na kakakuha nyo nga lang yung extension yung 2.5 years, for goodness sake, start saving now, because as I say, it's 2,885 per applicant, and it's not going to go down. I can't imagine, but it will likely go up. No, so now, so that's essentially what you need to submit, no, the application, and of course you need to upload also documents later on. But we'll come back to that another time now. Now, let's go back though to what causes people concern often is ano bang batas? What law applies? Yung sabi ko kanina, if you're interested in which what law they're going to look at, it's Appendix FM as a starting point. So let's unpack nga the conditions. They are essentially, they divided into two sections. There's what's called the suitability criteria, and then the eligibility criteria. Don't let yourself, get too confused or too worried about the legal jargon nga, no? Suitability criteria and eligibility criteria. Let's have a look at those. Okay, now suitability criteria essentially looks at character. Okay, the character of the applicant, to see meron bang mga rason that they should not be allowed to remain in the United Kingdom. The most obvious one would be say criminality. Okay, so kung may nangyari nga, no, na you would then you don't even need to necessarily be convicted of it, but there were issues now with criminality. Certainly if you've been convicted of something, then that may cause concerns, because that they may say you're not suitable, no? It is not conducive to the public good that you are allowed to remain in the United Kingdom. So ingat nga kayo. I mean, of course, it's a question also of degree. I mean, they will of course look at say theft, no, against an employer, quite different from nakalimutan ngayon magbayad ng train fare, no? Clearly nakalimutan nyo. So it is it's important though na i-declare nyo, no, kung yung nga nangyari, and explain it also. It can also be sometimes nga hindi nyo kasalanan, no? It could be that they have discretion to say yes or no. So for example, and this is something actually unfortunately I come across a bit too often, is false documents. False documents, that's not my client's fault. And so recently, for example, I encountered nga a case where yung kalayante ko nandito na, no? And matagal na nga dito, applied for to change his visa nga to that of a spouse. So sabi niya, dahil asawa niya nasa atin sa Pilipinas nga, sabi niya, well, okay, can you petition nga for annulment because I can't do it, nandito ako. So sabi ng asawa niya, yeah, gagawin ko. Ginawa niya daw. Hindi naman niya hindi niya ginawa. Ang nangyari, binigyan nga siya ng papeles, no? The certificate of the decree of annulment, but it's false. No? So when my client then submitted that to the Home Office, he did not know na it was a false document. But nevertheless, nung nalaman nga niya, that then caused issues. No? So hindi niya kasalanan, but nevertheless, it caused issues. But okay, it was a discretionary matter, so the Home Office accepted nga that he didn't know that it had actually been, it was a false document. So we were able to nevertheless get him indefinite leave to remain. But it can cause concern. So ingat nga kayo. They get concerned about non-disclosure. So if you're unsure whether you should disclose it, maybe better to disclose it. But better yet, see nga a solicitor and discuss it, no? And be frank nga about it. So that would be, if you like, in a nutshell, suitability requirement. So it's exactly that. Are you suitable to be given a visa in the United Kingdom? That's their focus. It's your character. Are you of good character? So should you remain in the UK indefinitely? No? Now, the second section na natitignan nga nila is eligibility requirement. Again, don't let the legal jargon worry you too much. So let's break it down, Okay. So eligibility requirements just means, do you satisfy the conditions nga? First thing they look at is maintenance and accommodation requirements. Now, let me just talk a little bit about maintenance nga. Now, the government, of course, alam niyo naman, introduced an increase in the minimum income requirement. Dati, 18,600. Ngayon, it's now 29,000 pounds, likely to go up further. Now, however, kung nandito na nga kayo, if you entered the United Kingdom already, you had a spouse visa, you got an extension of that spouse visa, so you're nearly 5 years in the United Kingdom, then you obviously entered the United Kingdom before the law changed. Okay? It changed relatively recently. I think it's the 11th of April when it came into effect nga. And so it's not that long ago. Now, that means you need to satisfy the old minimum income requirement, which is good news for quite a lot of people. So kung nandito na nga kayo, you make an application now for indefinite leave to remain, the limit you need to satisfy is not 29,000, but 18,600. Plus, of course, kung meron kayong mga anak, kailangan yung dagdagan. So it's the old law, yung lumang batas, ang kailangan yung pakita. Another good news when you're calculating maintenance nga is, you can, dahil nandito kayo, spouse visa kayo, meron kayong trabaho dito, you're allowed to work also, yung income nyo, pwedeng yung idagdag dun sa income ng asawa nyo. So jointly, you can show 18,600. So the income, your joint income, proper income nga, can be added, and if it amounts to 18,600, plus obviously if there are any children additionally, then otherwise it's fine, you satisfy it, the 18,600. The people who are coming now, okay, nagpapasok silang application for a spouse visa, obviously not yet entitled to indefinite leave to remain, then they would need to satisfy the new minimum income requirement, which is presently 29,000 pounds, which is likely to go up. Accommodation, so maintenance yun, accommodation is exactly that. Bahay nyo dito. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to own it. I mean, certainly you didn't have to own it when you entered the UK. You still don't have to own it when you apply for indefinite leave to remain. Kung meron kayong kwarto, you're staying in a studio flat or bed sit nga, that's fine too, as long as it is accommodation that is for yours and your spouse's use nga. So if it's reasonable accommodation. So yun ang maintenance and accommodation requirement. Now, relationship requirement, I mean, that's easy. You need to be able to show, of course, that you are together. No? Now, if you're not living together, and I see this actually fairly regularly that because of employment commitment. So, meron akong mga kliyente, living in sila. Pagka day off, dun sila umuwi. That's okay too. You just need to explain it. Especially kung malayo nga kayo. Because of course, they want to see that indeed you are in the United Kingdom, living in a relationship, in a marriage. And that usually means, of course, what that means, in fact, living together. But living together does not mean that you have to have 24 hours nga magkasama kayo. So they also allow for employment concerns nga. So those are the things that they would look at in relation to relationship requirements. And as I say, kung meron kayong may ibang ang sitwasyon nyo, explain it, no? And of course, that also means that living together means kasama nga kayo. It doesn't have to be 24 hours, 7 days a week, of course. But it does mean that you are in the United Kingdom. If you have a lot of absences, then they may query, no? Talagang nagsasama kayo, talagang meron pa kayong relationship. Kung hindi naman kayo nandun kayo sa atin, o nandun siya sa atin, o nasa ibang bansa, for example. Part also of the eligibility requirement is yung English nga. Now, indefinite nang papasok nyo, settlement status ang papasok nyo, no? Ibig sabihin, mas mataas ang gusto nang makitang yung test nga, no? So there are two actually. So there's the English language and also knowledge of life in the United Kingdom. The English language, it must be no less than a B1 level, no? So that is the higher level nga. Those actually, B1 is what you normally need to show when you are entering the United Kingdom pursuant to employment, for example. So it's not easy, but it's nowhere near as difficult as the other one of the two that you need to satisfy nga. The second one is the life in the UK. It's a test nga, no? As I understand it, I think it's 24 questions. Tapos you need to get some, I think it's 18 right. There's a fee, but I can't remember actually what the fee is. I think £50. It's not too bad. The English requirements are a little bit more expensive. Now, you need to pass it though, okay? And you need to pass both. There are some exemptions, and so for example, kung dito kayo nag-aral, no? you have a degree in the United Kingdom, obviously taught in English, or you have a degree elsewhere, taught in English. Mapapakita nyo na talagang NAREC has accepted it to be equivalent, no? To say B1. Then you may be exempt in relation not to the English language. But otherwise, wala ka nga kayong sakit, if you're not unwell, and you are perfectly able to take up the Life in the UK test and the English language, they will insist on it, unless you're over 65. Okay, if you're over 65, then you don't need to do either one. But otherwise, it's the exemption nga lang is if you're unwell, there's a medical issue. And not just any medical issue. So if you have meron kayong diabetes, that's probably not going to be enough. Well, I'm pretty sure it won't be enough to exempt yung no? So it is, but the two tests kailangan yun. The good news is, pagka kinuha nyo yung Life in the UK test and the English language, the B1 level nga, you can also use that for your naturalization application, which is get a British passport. So you can use both. No? You don't need to redo it again, although there's some talk about adding something else. But at the moment, hindi nga. Now, sabihin natin, no, you've made an application, you've paid your fee making the application, you've submitted it, you've uploaded your documents, you've done your, they've asked you to attend the BRP enrollment, and you satisfy all the relevant conditions, the suitability, and of course the eligibility requirements. Lahat yon, you satisfy them. Then you get them. Then they grant your visa. What do you get? No. So, what will you get? Now, papakita ko sa inyo, okay? So, unang papakita ko sa inyo is the letter that you would receive saying, yep, you have a successful application. So, sandali nga lang, tingnan natin. Let me have a look at the letter that you would get. Yeah, okay? So, this is email. So, this was emailed to me. So, sabi nga dito, makikita nyo sa taas nga pangalan ko. I was acting for a client, or sabi nga dito, so I put it in red. Your application for indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom has been successful. Okay, so it is. That means, of course, my client got a visa, which made everyone very happy, of course, including me. No, so now, but this is an email nga. Beware. Okay. Ito makukuha nyo ito, although it would say there, okay, application's been successful, sasabihin nga doon, you now have indefinite leave to remain. The BRP that you get, okay, yung card nga, yeah, papakita ko sa inyo, yeah. So this is also something that concerns people. So papakita ko sa inyo BRP, anong itsura ng BRP. So ito, okay. So obviously I had to redact this because it was also something that I was dealing with nga. So nandun nga, makikita nyo is a card, no? Makikita nyo nga doon yung pangalan, yung full name, date it was issued, yung picture nga ng kliyente ko, no? And the home office details, date, birth, nationality. Nakikita nyo yung pecha. So on where it says here, under full name, makikita nyo yan, 31 December 2024. Okay? So that you see there, no? 20. So ibig sabihin, yung card, and it's the card, not the visa. Okay? The card expires on the 31st of December 2024. So katapusan ng nitong taon, no? Now, don't panic. I know, of course, it looks like your visa is going to expire on the 31st of December 2024, but that's not the case. Yung card nga lang ang matatapos. I know we discussed the BRP issue a few sessions back. So scroll back and have a look at our shows nga a few weeks before, no? They are explaining what that means, what happens when your BRP is going to expire. Pero ito pong itsura, no? The BRP for BRP card for indefinite leave to remain. No? So don't worry na matatapos nga 31st of December, because that does not mean that indefinite leave to remain expires. Then you have indefinite leave to remain. So if you have settled status in the UK, unless something bad happens, that will just continue after the card. But as I say, don't stress too much about the card expiring. But if you are concerned, anong kailangan yung gawin, go back a few of during a few episodes and you'll see one where I'm explaining what that actually means. No? So it's this is what you would get, which will, as I say, make you quite happy. No, now certain things also to bear in mind. Now, indefinite leave to remain. Kung kasal kayo sa British citizen yung asawa nyo nga, no? Briton nga sila dito. Ibig sabihin, pagka indefinite na kayo, you can make an application immediately. As soon as you get indefinite leave to remain for naturalization. Yun ang stage na kailangan nyo makuha, the naturalization, in order to get a British passport. So yun muna. Okay, so indefinite muna, naturalization, and then British passport nga. It has to be in that order. Okay? So, but if your spouse is not British, then you need to wait another 12 months after getting indefinite leave to remain before you can make an application for naturalization. So, kung Briton sila, immediately. Kung hindi sila Briton, then you need to wait another 12 months before you can make an application for naturalization. Tip 1 ko yun. Okay? Now, also, tip ko, no? Kung pumasok nga kayo dito as a fiancé or a proposed civil partner, so hindi nga kayo kasal, yung 6 months nakuha yung visa as a proposed civil partner or a fiancé nga, that will not count, no, towards the 5 years. Yeah? So you can't put that on top. No? So the 2.5 years nga, the 5 years essentially, the 2.5 years plus 2.5 years, yung spouse visa ang kailangan yung pakita. No? You can't add the fiancé time. Another thing also that I'm asked every so often, not too often actually, is it's not possible to mix and match partners. Okay, it happens sometimes. No, even with the best will in the world, sometimes things don't work out. Tapos sabihin natin, nakakuha kayong spouse visa, tapos may nangyari nga, then you have another partner, hindi niyo pwedeng idagdag yung first spouse visa niyo to the next spouse visa. You can't mix and match. So, which actually, I suppose, which makes sense, no? So you can't add it. You can't add the 2 or 3 nga to make up the 5 years. Okay? But otherwise, ang biggest tip ko, no, it's a practical one. Pagka magpapasok yung application, when you submit your application nga, have all your documents ready. Have your passport to hand, make sure your credit card's there, make sure may laman yung pera nyo, yung account nyo, so make sure that there's enough money there, because if you don't pay, application is not valid. Okay? And so make sure that all your documents are ready. English language nga, you need your reference nga, so all those documents are ready. So it's so you don't make mistakes. You can of course post applications. You submit application, you complete application, hindi pa kompleto. You can post, you can leave it, and you can go back to it later on. But frankly, it's easier nga if you're making an application na ready nga kayo. Make sure everything is to hand, okay? Especially kung meron nga kayo mga bata na nandun din sa inyo, that you also have nga their passports. And be careful when you're not noting references. Because of course sometimes, but it is the case, no? Sometimes nga it's a mixture of digits and also numbers. Put it in, read it again, okay? So always check nga. Spell check nga yung addresses also. Sometimes people get mixed up. So it's just take care is what I'm saying, no? And hopefully you then get nga your indefinite leave to remain. And if you get indefinite leave to remain, then you have settled status in the UK, and that would be great, no? Yung pinag-usapan natin last week and the week before nga, naturalization and registration of children. Naturalization, you can then make that application once you have indefinite leave to remain. So anyway, sorry, I zoomed through that because there's so much to discuss. There's so much to pack in, and I wanted to make sure that you see and as much as I can assist, no? But as usual, if you're confused, hindi kayo sigurado, see a solicitor, okay? Because you don't want to get this wrong, really. Well, you don't want to get anything to do with legal stuff wrong, but certainly when you're making an application for indefinite leave to remain, you don't want to get things wrong, because that may compromise now your status when you're in the United Kingdom. So you should absolutely see a solicitor if you are not clear. But hopefully you are a bit clear. We haven't discussed it now. Now that I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I tell you, people always say to me, oh, you do like talking, and I do. I do like talking, but especially like not talking about trying, or hopefully imparting knowledge and my experience, which hopefully now helps you out. Hopefully you found that.